Hello, everybody. Brett Mix here, back for Macho Wrestling 101 or Macho Madness, whatever you like to call my channel. Hit like and subscribe if you want to talk old school wrestling. We do that daily, and I also keep up with today's stuff, so it's a great place to be if you want to hit that button. It would help me out a lot. Today we talk about WrestleMania 26. It's the newest WrestleMania in the anthology that I'm reviewing. 72,216 strong in the Phoenix Stadium, March 28th, 2000. And 2010. It was the third highest grossing WrestleMania as far as ticket sales at the time, only trailing behind WrestleMania 24 and 25 respectively. Yoshitatsu won a 26-man battle royal after eliminating Zack Ryder before the show began. So Show Miz, which is Miz and the Big Show just, you can rhyme with anything. Show Blow, Show Joe, Jericho, Show Miz, Miz Show. If they teamed up with me, it'd be Brett Show. It's really obnoxious the way they just put Show in any name and then slap them together and go, yep, it's a tag team. Anyway, the Miz and Show were the team here, and they were the champions coming in. They actually retained the titles after a knockout punch by Morrison. Actually, Morrison tried to do some cool moves in the ring. It only lasted 3 minutes, though. Strange way to open up WrestleMania, but it gets a star and a half. Next, we got Randy Orton versus two other of his legacy members, Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, in a triple threat. Orton gets a huge pop. And but all three of these men, the DiBiase and Rhodes, decided to team up against Orton, but Orton hit some double DDT as they went for a double suplex. Orton now strikes Rhodes and DiBiase as he had time to rest after he goes for another. He dodged a collision on the outside. DiBiase and Rhodes were both down. Orton slips Ted and Cody on the double DDT from the middle of the ropes. Orton kicks out at Ted now and gets down and stalks Cody on the mat. Randy just simply looks at the crowd, and then instead of going for an RKO, he goes to punt and kicks Cody. DiBiase from behind goes for his version of the $1 Million Dream on Orton, trying to counter. Orton counters that, though, with a hip block and then an RKO to DiBiase. In the end, at 9:01, Orton was victorious after defeating his fellow Legacy members. Star and 3/4 I gave that. I just felt, you know what, I'm going to change that to 2 stars. On the rewatch, I actually like that more than my written review. My written review says a star and 3/4, and I wrote this review about 10 years ago. I want to say 10 years ago I wrote this review. So what I do is I read the play. If you haven't caught on to this in my WrestleMania reviews, I read the play-by-play in my review that I wrote 10 years ago, but then I come up with the new rating after my rewatch of the event, which I just did. So I merge the two, and then I come out with one. And in my written review, I wrote it a star 3/4, but I'm going to change that actually to 2 stars and 1/4. It wasn't as bad as I initially wrote it. It ended at 9 minutes, though. 9 minutes and a second it ended. Sorry about my nose, I'm a little bit stuffy. But next up, we have the Money in the Bank ladder match. This is the 6th Money in the Bank ladder match, and it kind of involved a lot of people. You had Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, Drew McIntyre, Christian, MVP, Matt Hardy, Evan Bourne, Kofi Kingston, and Kane. All in one Money in the Bank ladder match. And in the Money in the Bank ladder match, I really liked the spots with Evan Bourne, Kofi Kingston. Shelton was becoming a regular, but he didn't do as many spots as he usually does in these matches. Shelton was a star, though. Definitely. I like this Money in the Bank ladder match a lot more than the 5th one, so I give it 3 stars. In the end, Jack Swagger wins, and sort of a surprise winner. But at the end, he ended up winning the world title too, which was not the greatest move, but it was a good move to put him with the case on him anyway. Didn't think it was going to end in a title reign, but the pace was fun. It went 13:44, so 3 stars seems fair. Excuse me. Up next is Triple H and Sheamus. They have built Sheamus up as a guy who can go over Orton and Cena, so why not Triple H? Triple H's track record hasn't been the best in the last few WrestleManias. He's jobbed in the last few, so I can understand why they went the way they did in this match. It only makes sense for Sheamus to beat Triple H, but when you look at Triple H's WrestleMania record, yeah, he needed to win, which is incredible saying about Triple H when you look at what he did in the early 2000s. Yeah, so a neck breaker of his own by Hunter. Triple H up top gets dropped and missed the pedigree attempt. Sheamus hits a big boot at the head of Hunter. Triple H kicks out. Hunter elbows out of a potential slam to do a spine buster. Triple H hits the pedigree out of nowhere after that. In the end, at 12:09, Triple H got the pin over Sheamus. And I rated that 2 stars and 3/4. I thought they were capable of more. Sort of like this next match here, CM Punk versus Rey Mysterio. If Rey loses, he joins Straight Edge. They only gave this match 6 minutes. I don't understand it. They could have gave this match double that time at least. Mysterio countered in the corner with a tornado DDT and got a 2 count. He goes for the 619, but Punk dodged it, going for a go to sleep, but counter after counter. Rey goes to the top. Mysterio signaled for an Eddie Guerrero frog splash, but he missed Punk in the middle of the ring. Punk then lands a high knee and then go to sleep, but Rey wanted a 619, and it was blocked by a member of the Straight Edge. Mysterio hit a Hurricane Rana and a 619 for the victory. In the end, at 6:09, Rey got the victory. I gave it 2 stars and 1/4. I think that's fair for this match. I think so. I'm pretty sure there must have been a reason. They must have needed time for the next match. And when I tell you what the next match is, you're going to shake your head. You're going to go, well, why couldn't they give Punk and Mysterio more time? Bret Hart versus Mr. McMahon is the match after this. So 2 stars and 3/4. I've decided for CM Punk and Rey Mysterio, but honestly, the next match, Bret Hart and Mr. McMahon could have shaved off 10 minutes. And why couldn't that? It's all done. WrestleMania 2010 is a long time ago. It's over with. No point of stressing about it now. But when I'm reviewing the event, and the timing is fucked. Straight up fucked. In this match, the Hart Dynasty came out with McMahon. Seeing Diana Hart walk down the entrance at WrestleMania to No Chance in Hell is quite the image. I never thought I'd see that after Davey Boy died. That Diana Hart was going to walk down to the ring at WrestleMania to No Chance. Either way, Bret does a double cross, and all the family kick the shit out of the McMahons. Bret puts him in the sharpshooter, and McMahon taps. Bret gets his... I give it a star just because Bret got his closure. I'm not blaming... People blame... Okay, they can blame the booking, sure. The match was too long and it sucked. But here's the thing. Don't blame Bret Hart. The guy had a stroke. He couldn't even fucking... He can't... He is the most critical guy of his own work. I'm sure he knows that the match was shit. But he couldn't... He tried to do it elbow and he could barely... This guy built a career on being the best excellence of execution. Like, he had the best... Nobody hit moves better than Bret when he was on his game. So now that Bret's so limited, it's such a shell of his former self, but to see him go out and try after a stroke, it's remarkable. So I don't get the fans that complain about the work rate, or are you shitting me? It's a fucking miracle we see Bret Hart in the ring with Vince as it is. Anyway, I can't shit on it like everyone else does. I just can't, because it's... What do you want from the guy? I mean, it's not like it's Ric Flair, like in his 80s. People saying, what do you want from the guy? No, Ric Flair could have fucking retired. This is Bret Hart having one match. Not 85 goodbye matches, just one. And he probably knew it was shit. He didn't need an event to be called Bret Hart's last match. Sorry, that's just a little bit of a mini rant on Ric Flair. Next up, we got Jericho and Edge for the World Heavyweight title. Oh man, the build up to this match. Spear, spear, spear. Spear, 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 spear. Spear, 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 spear. Spear, 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 spear. Spear, spear. Spear, 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 spear. That's what Edge said, pretty much. If I'd never heard the word spear again, I would be a lot happier. Holy shit. Edge, yeah, he works better as a heel. I really think so. As a face, he can be funny, like in the days of Edge and Christian, he was funny. But no, not these days. The rated R superstar is a lot better. Jericho, they got the match right. This was a good match here. Jericho retained the title at 15:48. I only gave it 2.5 stars when I reviewed this back in the day, but I liked the match a lot more. A whole star more. 3.5 stars I give it. Jericho and Edge wrestled a good match here. Edge returned to win the 2010 Royal Rumble. Jericho came back and at around late 07, so he'd been back for 2.5 years. Jericho was the champion going in, and Jericho retained. I like that. Next, we had Mickey, Vicky, Alicia, Layla, Maurice versus Beth, Kelly, Mickey James, Gail, Kim, and Eve Torres in a 10 Diva tag match. This is the piss break. Lay Cool got the win. The only thing notable is Vicky Guerrero did the Eddie Guerrero frog splash. That was the only thing noteworthy, but I give it a dud. It was terrible. Batista versus John Cena. I gave this 2 stars back in the day because it was just both guys kicking out of their finishers. But you know what? It was more of a sprint than that. I really liked how this actually played out. It was just popcorn fun. It lasted 13:31, so it was a bit more than just kicking out of each other's finishers. I'm going to give it 3 stars now. I had it at 2 stars before. I don't like to change my ratings by more than a star, so I can just give it 3. But Cena became the new champion at 13:31. This is one of his 16 title reigns. Next up, the main event, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in a no DQ countout streak versus career match. That's a lot to put on the line. Streak versus career with a no DQ. Did they hit the ball out of the park like they did at 25? No. Did they do it as good as they could do it without hitting the ball out of the park? Yeah, arguably, yeah. So that's still 4.5 stars for me. I gave this match 4.5 stars, just like I gave the original 4.5 stars. I just believe the first one's a lot better. This one, it's almost as good, but it's not on the same hitting the ball out of the park level, if that makes sense. They're at the same rating, but the other one just it's way above the other one as far as 4.5 star matches go. Not every 4.5 star match is going to be equal. It's kind of hard to explain when I say that out loud. I'm kind of thinking, well, what the hell do you mean? It's the same rating. Maybe the first one I should have at 4.75 stars. Maybe that'll be an easier way to explain it. But these guys put on a classic. I'll just tell you that. They put on a classic, and then they put on a classic the next year. And you guys all know what I mean. I mean, this is Shawn Michaels' last match. Well, it should be his last match. We all know the bald Shawn Michaels came back for a forgettable match. But, this will always remember as Shawn Michaels' last WWE match, in my opinion. 23:59, The Undertaker just stayed undefeated, but I gotta eat some crow here. I gotta take a loss. I wrote in the review from like 10 years ago. I wrote The Undertaker. I don't know why the fans are so shocked when somebody kicks out of the Undertaker, or the Undertaker kicks out. Why are people shocked when Undertaker kicks out? He's never going to lose at this event. Ever. That's what I said. Okay, I'm out. I ate some crow, and I even wrote, I will eat these words if he ever loses. I'm eating them. I was wrong. Brock Lesnar beat The Undertaker, and you know what? When that actually happened, I was a fan of it. I was one of the rare ones that said, this is great. That's a great surprise. And I liked that it was Brock. I actually think it built the beast up more. And but that's for another review. That's for in a few WrestleManias. We'll talk about that. But nonetheless, this was a classic WrestleMania, and it had you thinking The Undertaker could lose because it was Shawn Michaels' career on the line, after all. So that match helps this WrestleMania tremendously in the rating. I give it a 5.5 out of 10. I think there was a lot of bad at this WrestleMania, but there was some good, and the good was just enough to pull it up to a passing grade. Alright, I'm Brett Mix. This is WrestleMania 26. I'm not trying to rhyme, I swear. And like and subscribe for more wrestling reviews. That's all I can say. And thank you for tuning in for this entire review. If you've made it this far, you're a fan. Thanks so much for you, and I really appreciate you if you have. Not because I get money for this or it's monetized. It's not. I don't get any money for this. I only have like 46 followers. But I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm going to hopefully get a better setup, and we're going to make it a lot better than it is now. But thank you for staying with me for this length of time. And we hope to see you on the next one. All right, I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.